Hi, welcome to Mrs. Park's Algebra 1 class. This is lesson 5-2, solving inequalities by multiplication and division. So the previous section, we've solved inequalities by adding and subtracting, and that was a really quick, easy lesson because it's just like how we're used to solving equations, but this time it's with different signs and inequalities, and there was nothing really different with solving equations. All right. So here's a little video clip that you need to watch first. Okay. So that was a great little video clip on solving inequalities. I hope that helped. All right, so let's review real quick. All right. So if you have an inequality and you're solving for r, so if this was an equation, you would normally multiply each side by the inverse, the negative inverse, so opposite inverse, so minus negative 3 over 7, that would cross each other out. Negative and negative would make it a positive. So when you multiply or divide by a negative number, like we did here, then all you do is change this sign, this original sign, to the opposite way. And the solution set is all real numbers such that r is greater than negative 49. Okay, so now it's your turn. Make sure you take out a piece of paper, write your name on it, the date, and the section is 5-2. Make sure you write your turn number 1 and 2, solve those inequalities. Also here, I would like you to make a graph and just make sure you graph each one for the inequalities. So pause the video right now and then come back when you're done. Okay, so hopefully you had those 2 problems done correctly. Make sure you bring it in tomorrow to check it out, and that will be counting as your homework grade. Alright, so some things to watch out for. Negatives. A negative sign in an inequality does not A negative sign in an inequality does not necessarily mean that the direction of the inequality should change. For example, so what they're saying here, if there's a negative on this side, that doesn't really mean that you need to change the sign. You just multiply by 6 on each side, and you'll have x is still greater than negative 18. Okay, so just because there's a negative sign does not mean that you change this, flip the sign. Okay, the inequality sign stays the same. That's something you need to watch out for. Alright, so how do we divide to solve an inequality? Same thing. Here you have 60t is greater than 8. You want to divide by 60 to make that canceled out. So 60 is still greater than 8 divided by 60. You need to simplify your answer if it's in fractions. And you notice here the sign did not change because we didn't have any negative numbers involved. For problem B, we're dividing by a negative 7. So that's the alert right there. If you hear a negative, if you're dividing by a negative number, then this sign should be flipped. So it's no longer less or equal to, it is greater or equal to negative 21. Okay, so it's your turn again. Make sure you pause the video, solve numbers 3 and 4. Make sure you come back right after you're done and make sure you're doing all on the same paper that you're going to hand in tomorrow. Okay, and that's the end of the video. So if you have any questions, make sure you write it down on the same paper and bring it back to me by tomorrow. Thanks for watching.